What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and I have quite the information to share with you today. Um, First off, about the pandemic. I just showed you that Biden said there will be a second pandemic, and there's been simulations for a pandemic that affects young people. So in this past one, you saw a lot of the older people were the ones that were affected. Next time around, you're going to see one that's going to affect young people. So they say, we don't know how it's going to happen or if that will be the case. But here's a video of Fauci telling you there will absolutely be another pandemic. Listen to his words and we'll break it down.
So if we really want to prevent the next pandemic, and there will be one, there will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic. It may be next year, or it may be in your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren's lifetime. We don't know. So if we really want...
And I'll tell you this, it's going to happen. I mean, you can see it in the next election cycle in 2024. It can come out. And it's going to take a lot of people by surprise, in a sense. And those people, and let me break this down real quick because we got to get to the nitty gritty here. A lot of people, 50% of people, were willingly going to receive and do whatever the government told them. Hey, why don't you take this? Went ahead and took it. The next chunk of people did it with incentives, right? And then the next chunk of people did it because of their jobs. And then the rest were still not going to do it. And they know who those people are. They have the data. They rolled it out in specific phases for the reason, to identify. Come the second time around, if you're willing to do it so easily on the first merry-go-round, you're going to be more willing the second time. And I'll tell you, the policies will not be as lenient the second time around for dissenters. And that's why on this channel, if you've been following along, you know I've been saying, folks, you need to get get prepared. Main important factors are food, water, and shelter. You need to be able to survive because it's like there's a fence, a corral that's being set up around you right now. And that is the CBDC digital system. And what it's doing, it's enslaving you. And eventually you will become an outcast if you do not follow along. And this is what is happening. It's clear as day. And I think the 2030 agenda will be seize property to build wind and solar farms. This is what Jamie Dimon said from JP Morgan. So they'll always have an excuse to take something away from you. However, you want to be able to kind of do a walk around for as long as you can, right? Because eventually it will come, they'll find you, etc., etc. Like this is a full force agenda that's happening. And my point is this, and this leads into my next topic. I think I'll skip this for now, showing the video, but actually no, I'll show it here. It's a short one.
Talking directly to China about this conflict, the Russian aggression, what is at stake, the consequences for our Europe, the consequences for the Near East and Middle East, as well as for the African continent and so many others, it means to try and engage them in a strategic relationship that may be more complex than what we would like. This is what I will discuss. You already understood that. Tomorrow, in the day with the president, we will try to build, in a way, engage China toward a shared responsibility for peace and stability.
When they cry peace, peace, sudden destruction will fall upon them. And so, folks, and this is with China, and this leads into my next point, right? So we talked about, how they're going to enslave you with their new digital system, and how they want to take away your rights, private property, et cetera, et cetera. And I think private property is at the very core, very fundamental of your freedom. And they're trying to strip that away from you. Now, and I'm going to start harping this, and I'm going to go against the grain with a lot of people, but I'm contrarian in that sense. And what I'm saying right now is the U.S. is not losing any of its status. It's going to remain a superpower. And what they're doing right now is creating this narrative of the dollar losing its value. You're starting to see it and hitting all the platforms. You see here, Tucker Carlson did a segment on the dollar and the hyperinflation that's coming and history repeating itself. He did a long segment. So Fox News, ABC, CNN, all these media outlets are covering this. You see Senator Ron Johnson talking to Janet Yellen right here and telling her about, you're going to inflate the debt to $50 trillion. While that may be true, here is what's happening, folks. Now, I'm going to include some biblical prophecy here, but there's going to be there's two beast powers in Revelation. The one beast power refers to the papacy. The other beast power, which extends it over the sea and shakes hands with the other beast and forms an image to that beast, is America and prophecy. And we see that in order to form an image to the beast, it has to be a strong power, right? You have to be able to have command and a reputation in the world as a superpower. And so right now, it seems like, oh man, America's losing their dollar reserve currency. This is the downfall of America. China's taking the way with their digital yuan. We're falling behind. And you're seeing a lot of narratives. Oh, the U.S. needs to step up to the plate. They need to implement a lot of new legislation to take into account crypto and let innovation thrive. And you're hearing, and it's growing. It's becoming a grassroots movement. And people will ask and beg for this technology. And I don't know how it's going to unfold. But what's going to take place is people saying we're falling behind, we can't get behind, and simultaneously it will destroy. They want to destroy the whole fiat system. They don't want you to have access to any cash because they want to go into this new surveillance system, and they want to be able to track and trace and surveil. And so right now, make no mistake about it, they're setting the stage and the narrative in order to introduce this. But you got to understand, because of America's history, you're not just going to get people accepting something without going down into without putting up a fight, for lack of words, right now. And so that's what you can expect. I think, it's a world stage. Like Shakespeare says, the world is a stage, and it has its players that come and make their entrances and exits. Everyone is sitting at the table. They're all involved. All these people have connections to the World Economic Forum. They all know each other. They're World Economic young global leaders. So don't get fooled when they're telling you America's falling, China's overtaking them, and it's all over. They might be wanting to get rid of cash. Yes, absolutely. But be very careful with the narratives. I think they're trying to, I know that the narrative is so that they can introduce CBDCs and this new digital system, but they need a narrative to go along with it. And what better narrative than China's digital yuan is being used for settlement, for liquid natural gas, for petrol, for all this other stuff. The death of the US dollar, instilling fear into you. So that's my thesis. I think that's what I'm going to keep harping on moving forward. And I think you'll start to see within time that, all things will be revealed. And I think it's important to pay attention to these events. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. It's the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.